just the normal. I go through off season, get ready for last year for my 23 season.
Did you get arm pump at all before Moto2?
Oh yeah. Oh, before Moto2?
Yeah.
Very little bit, but it was gnarly in Moto2.
Why do you think that? Just like how much more physical it is?
Clearly there's something with the bikes, because you look at now how many riders got arm pump. I think like 9 riders got arm pump surgery after Qatar. After Qatar this year.
Yeah.
I think Fabio just went back and got more arm pump surgery.
There you go. Yeah, it's a lot, right? So clearly there's something with the bikes, with just the physical side of it, with what you have to do. The tracks as well. The combo is ridiculous.
Are the tracks more physical, you'd say, than the U.S.? Like being more like sweepy and stuff?
Some of them. I mean, Atlanta is very physical.
Yeah.
But nah, I'd say it's relative. Like just bike.
I think
to
you
track.
could like push the bikes harder, or they're just like, or is everybody just, or is just more people on the limit, so you have to be on the limit for longer?
I think you can just push that bike harder because it's so stiff, you know. Because here, Gagne and Bobier, and then you guys up front. It's not like you guys aren't pushing hard with what you have.
Yeah,
we're all on the limit, you know. But the bike has its limit too. You know, we're trying to find that limit, and I think even if we're at, we might not be at 100% the limit of the bike because we can always go faster. But even that 90%, I think the 90% on a production bike is not 90% on the Moto2 bike with how you're working on it. So I think that has a big side of the physical with the arm pump. But I got normal arm pump surgery, went through preseason, off-season training, and I felt good at first. Normal, right? You'd expect it after getting arm pump surgery. And then as I was getting towards the beginning of the season, I already started to feel that I wasn't all that great. Like I started to kind of get some arm pump again, and but I almost didn't want to believe it, right? Because I'm like, dude, like there's no way. Like there's no way. I just got the surgery 2 months ago, 3 months ago. There's no way. So I didn't really believe it. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. Started the season and it was like, had a tight suit one weekend. I'm like, it's got to be the suit while I'm getting arm pump. Fixed the suit, and then still kind of had it bad. And then we had like Portugal, Coda, and then I think Jerez or Le Mans or some shit like that. We had some like mix. And then at 1 or 2 tracks, it wasn't so bad. I was fine. Coda was horrible, like fucking horrible. My arm fell asleep. Almost like I feel like I could have fought for the points, and I couldn't because the last 5 laps I couldn't hold on to the bike. So there already that weekend, I'm like, dude. But then, for example, that race at Coda last year, my airbag went off on the warm-up lap. So then I'm like, oh, maybe I just got arm pump because my airbag went off and it was like kind of pushing on me. So, I was like, it was almost like there was always an excuse as to why it wasn't my actual arm until I got to Le Mans. Assen. I got to Assen and it was like, dude, that was horrible. Horrible. I couldn't even finish FP1. It was so bad. I tried again in FP2. It was bad. FP3 was bad. I was going through the whole weekend and my arm was just not having it. I couldn't do it no matter what I did, no matter what I was taking, what I was doing, how much I was stretching, how much therapy, nothing. I tried to do the race. I go 15, halfway through, 12, 15 laps, and I could not feel my arm. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. I pit in and I tell my team, guys, I'm sorry. Like, this is bad. I need to go to the doctor. I go straight to medical there at the track and tell them what's happening. They do ultrasound and they look at me and they're like, dude, you're fucked. Like that, but in Spanish, like that. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, we've never seen so much scar tissue in an arm. And they're like, when'd you get the surgery? I'm like, it was 6 months ago at that point. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, you need to open back up and you need to do something. And they're like, but if you got this much scar tissue in this amount of time, we expect that you're just gonna get the same problem again, right? Like within 3 months again. And I'm like, the world fell on me, man, because that was pretty much them telling me like, oh, like your arm, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know how to fix your arm. Like you're screwed. We don't know how to fix it. That's pretty much what they told me. And dude, like it fell, because from that moment to like, it was a full week of me going to doctor's office, me going to talking to surgeons, from Barcelona to Madrid, talking to different people. And then I finally found MotoGP recommended me to one of their surgeons, And this was the only surgeon that had a plan, right? He said, hey, I can't guarantee that you're not going to have scar tissue growth again right away. Can't guarantee it, but I can give you 90% assurance that that it's not going to come back. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It is what it is, right? They opened up my arm again. They took out a piece of scar tissue this big, like fucking this big, this thick. So no joke, before, like, now you touch it and it's muscle, right? It's soft. Before, like right next to here, you touch it here and it was like touching this. Like, no joke. It was like touching. Is it hard for you too?
No, it's all right.
Okay. It was like touching I'm not even joking, like a piece of rod, like a rod, like metal. It was hard. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a tendon or something, right? I'm dumb. I had no idea. Turns out that was a scar tissue. It grew back like this hard, this big, just a huge piece of scar tissue completely down, and it just closed up. And that's why the arm pump was worse than it was before.
And did they say that was because like the doctor that did it messed
Nope.
something up, or just genetics?
Genetics. My body just, I keloid easily. It's the way my body responds. It just keloids very, very easily. And when you keloid on the outside, you keloid on the inside, and that's just your body saying, hey, I want to close up. Like, pretty much my body my body was like, when you arm pump surgery is you open up the fascia inside. And when you open up the fascia, usually the body's like, okay, whatever, it's open, like let the muscle breathe. My body was like, yo, you open up the fascia, I want to close that up, because that, I don't want to have that open. So my body closed it up, and huge piece of scar tissue. Anyways, they went in, they took it out, closed up my arm again. Within all this, I did a couple sessions of radiotherapy on the arm, because that was the only way that they can guarantee that the cells weren't going to rush in and try to close everything. Radiotherapy kind of kills everything, right? That's one of the things that they use for cancer, to kill cells. Yeah. So they literally, like, actually, I have like little pieces of ink that's what they used for the machine, the radiotherapy machine. So I had to do that. I was 3 weeks on like certain pills to try not to have like so much cell growth on it. So it was crazy. I had to wear like the wrists, the wrist brace, to not move, like to not have my wrist, like my muscle moving, just to like keep everything still. And so I was like that for 6 weeks. And what happened within there, because the question kind of then obviously leads into what happened during the season, because I got the surgery, everything was fine. 6 weeks goes of me trying to heal up, like I was just kind of not doing much, couldn't do much. And then the day I got the green light from the surgeon to be able to start training again on the bike. No, sorry. I got the green light from the doctor. I started doing some physical therapy for 5 days. Green light to go and ride a bike. I go and ride, and it feels perfect, beautiful. That same day, I get 3 messages from random people saying, hey, what's this rumor about you getting replaced on the bike?
But at the time, they must have replaced you per round, right? Or was it summer break or something?
So that's the thing, is it was summer break, and it was exactly a month, and I was out for a month.
Okay.
So it was...
So they're probably working on a backup plan anyways.
They were working on a backup plan, and it was just the timing was strange, though, right? Because I was out for a month, and they never brought up anything. And then the week before I was supposed to race, the day that I finally tried it and it finally feels good and I'm ready to go, boom, there's a rumor that went out that I got replaced. The timing sucked, right? The timing sucked, and obviously then I ended up talking to him, and pretty much, long story short, it just kind of everything blew up there, like there was clearly a misunderstanding between me and the owners of the team. They thought I wasn't ready to go. I thought I was ready to go. They wanted to swap me out. I didn't want to get swapped out because it's my bike. And there was just
there was no like plan of you riding the next year if you stayed
No.
waiting?
So that's the other thing is there was no plan for next
Okay,
year.
so you was just done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it work in Moto2, like with World Championship with points, right? Because don't the teams get like a certain amount of money from Dorna per point? Is that how that works?
I think
No?
it's only for MotoGP, and the
Oh, okay.
top 10 teams get like 2
Yeah.
million euros.
So it's not like they like, we're trying to get somebody in to get some more points for the
Yeah.
year's
No,
over or
and
something.
so that's the thing, right? Is I understand if you're trying to replace me for me to heal up for a race, a round or two.
yeah.
I get that. That wasn't
Yeah.
their plan, right?
Okay.
And so that's where the big clash happened, right? Because I got called up and it's like, hey, you're getting replaced. Okay, for how long? Oh, until flyaways. The flyaways was 2 months later, right? So it's like,
Oh, so there was a plan to bring you back for the flyaways.
yeah, that was the talk,
But-
right? But
okay.
it was everything was too in the
Yeah.
air, and it
Yeah.
was. It just
can't
didn't.
be,
No,
yeah.
no.